it works. Let's get started. And first thing is big thanks to Jeff P, who gave great advice on figuring out how to route this cable. Now, first thing first, let's do prep. Number one, flip your bike over. I highly recommend putting the handlebars on something soft like this. I'm using a little dog bed, as you can see. As all those electronics, the hard ground might be a bit rough for them to rest on, and they could get broken. And probably keep your saddle on something soft as well. Keep those handlebars pointed straight forward and it'll stay balanced. So you can push the bike a little bit and it's not going anywhere. So number two, make sure that your battery is removed. To do that, there is this keyhole right here. And when you purchase the bike, you should have gotten a couple of keys. Just turn it, battery pops right out. Number three, let's make sure we have the right cable. So this is the cable we're going to use. I've already taken it apart a little bit. And it connects to your display. So one big important note, the cable right here, there it is. Can you see that black arrow? If you can see the black arrow, you're good to go. If there's a white arrow on this cable, I would not recommend using this video as instruction on how to do this. Now, this cable, it's going through this hole on the right side of the bike. It's going to route under this tunnel here. And let's go back to the other side of the bike. It is going to come out right here. So, backing up, you see these two Allen bolts. If you get closer, you can see 1 connection, 2 connection, 3 connection, 4 connection, 5 connection. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this second connection right here. Let's pull that out. There we go. It's this one. And if you can see in there, this is the connection we're going to use. And we will be replacing that. So now we've got our bike put over. We've made sure that we're using the right cable. We've removed the battery. And also in here, if you haven't yet, remove this cover. I just have it loose and hanging up here to get out of the way. But to access this, you want to have that out of the way. It's pretty easy. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws. Take them out. Be pretty careful though, the hardware is pretty soft. So make sure you use the right screwdriver. Make sure you don't use too much torque or else you're going to strip those screws. Okay, with that said, next thing we're going to do, now that we've done all this, is remove this track, this piece right here and here. Now I've already done most of the unscrewing, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 screws. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and remove those, and then we can get started on removing the old cable and then routing the new one. We have now removed all the screws. Let's go ahead and remove these pieces. Let's remove, just grab onto here, and I'm gonna pull this out first. And then second, pull out the whole plate itself. Just give it a little bit of wiggle, and there it goes. Make sure you're keeping everything in a safe space. I highly recommend, in my case, the bowl full of all the stuff that I was in. Probably shouldn't mix a bunch of zip ties in there. All right, second, go to the other side, and we'll just pull this out. This one doesn't come out completely. There's a wire connected. Let's just put it to the side here. So if you want to get a view of the guts, there we go. Remember, see that hole right there? That's what we're using. And then it's going to route under this tunnel, which I've now taken out. And those are the wires. That's the main thing that we're doing. And it's We'll come down here and see, that's the wire that we're going to be using. So let's go ahead and we'll just take it out. Okay, one side out, on the other side. So I learned a pretty important thing here. So this is the new cable. Now what we don't see is this big separator right here, or splitter. That splits the green and the yellow. As you can see, the diameter is much larger. So we're going to want to start from that hole. We're going to take, there we go, this end, put it back here, and feed it through. There we go. Sorry about the helicopter noise. Eventually there'll be sirens and loud cars and such. Okay, we got that through. And then we're going to feed it through this end. Big shout out to all you instructional YouTubers out there, because filming with one hand is tough. And that's going to end up coming out of this hole. You have the old one through. Now notice there's 3 top prong inlets, 3 middle, and then 2 bottom. You want to make sure when your bike is upside down that it's going to fit there. So I will have this upside down as well, and we're just going to go and put that right in there like so. Get the plug right in there, and in this cord we want to get it nice and snug. So you can see there, I'm going to pull back on this, until it's tight. There we go. Now that's the hardest part, getting it to route through this tunnel, but we did it. Now first thing I would do is put the covers over this tunnel and the electrical connections back so that the battery can fit. We're not going to put the battery on right away, but let's get everything neat while then we can progress. Now that we have this back, we're going to cover these holes. We'll put this back, we'll put the cover on the other side, and then we're going to put this back. Now, important note, this piece right here, see there's 2 holes right there. Those are going to connect to this tooth and this tooth. 1, 2. So you want to make sure that these 2 rectangular holes are on the side where your motor is. Okay, I'm gonna get to it, clean it up, and we'll be right back when I'm done. One thing I'll note, I have the channel or these cover started. I would definitely start with this side. You're gonna put the channel down, and remember those 2 teeth we just saw? Get those 2 teeth in there, because this whole thing is gonna slide around. Put it in place where you need to be, and then get this screw first. Once you get this screw, then go ahead and get this screw, and then this screw right there to get this in place, and then it's gonna make the rest easier. Now, another mention. See here at the end, there are these cables, there are these cables. Now there are 3 channels underneath this. One channel is right in the middle, and it's just to go over, you can see it, that little bar right there. See, about a couple millimeters thick. Channel 2 goes here, and then channel 3 is over on this side. So make sure you have those cables on the correct side when you're down here and get everything started. Then you can continue and then set everything. So now we do, I'm going to, actually I could have just shown you that. I'm gonna put everything in its proper place. There we go. And now I can continue screwing everything down now that it's everything's going where it should back. We've got this side in, we've got the cover in with the first 3 screws. And then this side is still open. Now with the screws that we do have, we've got these 2 skinny ones, 2 thick, and then 1 shorter skinny one. This screw is going to come right here. And then it's going to go on top of, that's what's gonna hold this guy down. You see that hole right there? That's where that screw will go. Now, one important note, when you're doing these 3 screws, be really careful, because if you lose them and then they go down there, I'm sure you can get them back, but it's not gonna be easy, especially if, yeah, just don't do it. Now I've got our lock back in place, but nothing's really keeping it secure. As you can see, and we can just remove it. There we go. So now we want to get this cover back on, but also we're gonna have to put this piece, remember it, at the same time as this slot. That's what fits, and they have to go in at the same time. So a little one-handed magic there. And slide it right in. I should probably have taken this screw. Set it aside because we don't want it falling into the abyss. We got it lined up. Just make sure the lock is aligned. And just push it in place. Uh-oh. Okay. That should be a good starting point. Now, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to screw these 2 where the lock goes. Second, and this isn't lined up yet, you can see, I'm going to pull this forward after the lock is aligned to get it in place. And then third, I'll go and get these 2 screws put in. So first, let's do the lock. Okay, here we are again. Everything is actually going really well, and I've even tested out the bike. This throttle does work. Now I've removed the battery again, but as you can see, that's in line. This is all here again, and that cover is there too. So everything's back, and now all that's left, we've routed through here. We put this little cover back on, and here's the cord. You see the split. One split goes here again, back to the display, as always. And the other split, right now, I have it on this throttle. So I just tested out the throttle, took it for a ride, got up to 18 miles an hour, which is a little bit scary to ride with the throttle like this, really not having a hand on this side of the bar, but tested it out and it works just fine. So next step, and the only remaining step that's necessary, I am personally going to put the throttle on the left handlebar. The reason for that being, on these NVOLO hubs, there's a lot going on here. And don't even think about the bell, but this display for the gear ratio is there. There's the brake there. So the throttle would probably have to be even a little bit to the left of where the bell is to get down here. On the left side handlebar though, not much going there. Lots of room for me to play with. So we're gonna take this control pod, move it over about an inch, put the throttle where it is. And then to do that, first we need to remove this grip. And then we're gonna remove this brake, and then we're going to loosen this, move this a little over to the right. We're gonna slide the throttle where the controller currently is, and we'll put everything back together. Now to do this, need a couple of tools. First, well, actually not a couple, but three. These 3 Allen wrenches. So first, I guess we'll do the grip. And the handlebar, or the grip, we'll get rid of it, that right there. So, there, and then I'll start unscrewing. See you in a minute when I got the handlebar. It's really easy. Just stick this in here, give it a little turn. It'll quickly become loose. And all we do is can then slide it off like that. Voila. Here with the brake, all I did, I just loosened the bottom a little bit, about maybe 1 full or 1.5 full turns, and then you can slide that right off. Controller here, I loosened this just a little bit, and as you can see, and then moved a little bit of my handlebar the way I want it to put this throttle on. So I've moved this over and it's still loose. Good. Got this. We want, would that work? I don't think it would. So we're gonna have the throttle down so I can push down with my left thumb. So let's put this on and slide it over. Obviously still loose. Now let's get the brake. Brake cable, make sure it's oriented the right way. And there we are. All right, there we go. So brakes on, look at that. We got good clearance here in the throttle, so this is gonna be my new control center. And finally, the grip. You wanna get the grip there where it's all the way to the end. Okay, that's the end. And now we can kind of position things exactly where we want them. I'd say that's a pretty good setup. So I'll tighten everything up and we'll take it for a test. And we are done. Put this, making sure that all the adjustments are correct as far as angles, and I might change them a little bit as we ride on, but this gives me good, I can reach the brake and this at the same time, even change the levels while still keeping my hand on the grip. So I would say everything's actually in perfect condition. I'm gonna go put the battery back in and we'll take her for a little test drive. A little ride down the alley, let's give it a test. I had it already set to level 5. Push off, I'm not pedaling. All right, well, I'm happy. I know what I'm doing for the rest of this weekend. I hope this video is informative to everybody into getting your throttle set up on your proprietary current. Again, information about where to get these parts for the throttle and cable. I currently have a few that I got an extra shipment from the supplier, so if you are looking for one, please reach out.